Hey, it's Heather, and today I'm not going to cook, I'm going to talk. And as always, I'm going to talk about the food crisis. Today it's about hunger. I attended a conference called Food Fight Cleaning Up the Mess at the Action Center to End World Hunger, sponsored by Mercy Corps and the Food Bank of New York City. The speakers were Katherine Birtine, who is of the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, Dugan, who is with the Food Bank of New York City, Rogan Kersh, who's a professor at NYU, and Nicholas Kristof, a journalist and op-ed columnist from the New York Times, and Kull, who is the director of World Public Opinion. It had a lot of compelling points, and I have 5 that I want to share with you. It's a very difficult problem, but it's not always complicated. The first point is that, very simply, the cause of hunger is poverty. You would think that's obvious. It is obvious, but it's something that we don't address. We provide food for people, which is essential, but we do not address the underlying disease of poverty. The old adage, give a man a fish, you feed him for a day, teach him to fish, you feed him for a lifetime, is as true now as ever. And one of the ways in which we work against ourselves on this subject is that we separate, at least here, hunger into domestic and international. One love, y'all, one globe. It is one issue. And when we split it apart, we have both ends working against the middle. Number 2 is what extreme poverty is, where people are living on less than $1 a day, where they are simply unable to buy enough calories to survive. The number for that is fast approaching 1 billion. It is referred to as the bottom billion people on this planet cannot afford to feed themselves. 162 million of them have less than 50 cents a day to live. If they all lived in the same place, it would be the 7th largest country. It's a lot of people. The next point, number 3, is that nutrition is not a luxury. Though that seems to be what it is becoming. In developing nations, the lack of appropriate nutrition is devastating. It is literally mutating the next generation with genetic deficiencies. And I'm talking not having enough iodine is costing 1 billion IQ points. Our approach in the US is that we certainly have enough food because we do have emergency food programs, but the attitude really is, and what really happens is that we let them eat cake. The poor in this country feed themselves with high calorie, low nutrition food that is that way because of the industrial food chain, and the result is that the poor are fat and sick, and that is two devastating economic consequences. And again, they're often children. We know type 2 diabetes, obesity, that's all affecting our children at very high rates. One of the nice things about this conference was that there was a tremendous consensus upon what the good things were or what we can do to change. So my point number 4 is they all said build local agriculture everywhere. Go local everywhere, but especially in developing nations. When we give food aid, we give it because our laws mandate it in the form of American grain. That is completely undermining developing nations' ability to feed itself by, kicking out their own farmers and leaving them without the ability to sustain, which is devastating, no good. The 5th point is really quite elegant in that the best way to conquer poverty and hunger is to educate girls and empower women. The face of poverty is female. Girls with a primary education, and I'm just talking primary education globally in developing nations, make completely different choices. They have fewer children, they take better care of the children that they do have, and problems like AIDS transmission, they go down significantly. In Africa, 80% of farmers are women. So when you educate them and give them resources, they are tremendously more productive, and it makes a huge, huge difference. The other way to empower women is microfinancing, those little loans that allows women to turn a trade and bring their own cash in, elevating their status and literally lifting up their nation and the world. So those are the big takeaways that I got. I want to encourage you once again to donate, educate, and advocate. I give all the resources on my website. The important thing is to sort of shift the way you're thinking so that when you think of hunger, you don't feel overwhelmed and you just think, what's my little share? What can I do? It's tight times. A lot of people don't have money. I donated the other day. I cleaned out my pantry. I had a ton of food that I was never going to eat. I put it in a bag. I put it out on my street. I live in the city, a lot of traffic. It was gone within hours. That's the thing. Donate, educate, advocate. Thanks for watching. Hit my website, sogood.tv.